Hey guys, welcome to today's practice. We're going to be moving through a slow flowing sequence with a focus on resetting your relationship with yourself so that it's positive. So the practice, will work your body in all different ways, but the main intention behind this practice is to help you cultivate kindness towards yourself, help you cultivate a relationship that is friendly towards yourself, towards your body, towards whatever your inner experience is today. So if you've been caught in a negative spin, if you've noticed that you're being really critical of yourself, down on yourself, beating yourself up, this practice will just help you very gently start to kind of shift that internal dialogue so that you can come into right relationship with yourself, and that this experience that you're having in your own body with your own psyche can be less negative. So I hope you like the practice. Give it a thumbs up if you do. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy my teaching. And if you want to go deeper, if you want a more full yoga experience with me, check out my yoga programs via the link below. So have an amazing practice today. All right, so go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. I highly recommend boosting up on a folded blanket or a bolster, cross-legged if possible, but if not, you could stretch your legs out straight. So just choose a position that works for your body today. And then let your hands come to rest in your lap or over your thighs. And if you enjoy closing your eyes for this beginning centering, feel free to do that. Feel yourself beginning to make that shift from being externally focused to internally focused. And just begin to attune to your breath today. And as you're feeling the breath moving through your body, notice how your body is revealing itself to you. Does your body feel open and light this morning? Does it feel heavy, kind of closed down or closed off? How is your body doing? And as you're making this attunement to your body, this connection to your body, check in and just notice what your attention is like. Is it loving? Is it critical? Is it curious? Is it friendly? And this is something I think most every human can cultivate on an ongoing basis, is this sense of friendliness towards oneself. So that we're building positive rapport within our own body, mind, heart, and spirit. So for these next 3 to 5 breaths, stay aware of your breath. Stay aware of your body. Cultivating that friendly connection with all of yourself. And then take one last slow breath here, breathing in through the nose Slow exhale through the nose. Good. And if your eyes are closed and you prefer to blink them open, please do so, or you can always just keep your eyes closed for these opening stretches. And if you're sitting up high on something, you can play around with it and see if you need to come off of your boost. And then I'm just going to have you walk your hands out into an easy, relaxed forward fold here. So just walk your hands out. You might not go very far depending on how your body feels today. And you could let your head hang. And just take a few breaths, again, meeting your body as it is in this moment on your mat. Exhale out, maybe let go a little bit more. And then just walk your hands back, lifting your chest up, and we're going to switch the crossing of our ankles. So this might be your more awkward side. And just give it a try. Walk the hands out again, fold yourself forward. And just see, maybe the shoulders want to release here. Maybe your head can hang a little bit more heavy. Breathe down into your hips. Exhale out completely. And then again, just go ahead and walk your hands back, lift your chest up, coming to sit nice and tall. Reach your arms out to the side. Take a breath here. Just lift those arms up, up, up. Really stretch through your fingertips. Gaze up. Maybe the palms touch here. And then exhaling, turn the palms away and just let your arms float all the way down. Let your fingertips touch the floor. Twice more. Inhale. Let your arms stretch up, up, up. Lift up out of your waist. Lift your gaze. Press your palms. Exhale slowly. Reach out long with those arms as the fingertips come back to the floor. Last time, breathe in. And exhale. Good. And then let's shift over onto our hands and knees. So come around. And let's first stretch back through child's pose. So you can just let your big toes touch and then bring as much width between your knees as you'd like. Let yourself release all the way into your child's pose. And just drop into the floor a little bit. Cultivating some deep belly breaths here, letting your abdomen expand out towards your thighs. And also touch into your low back. Notice your low back expanding with your in-breath. Letting the breath reach down into your pelvis, towards your hips and tailbone. And we're going to breathe out completely here. And then on your in-breath, take your gaze towards your hands and rise up onto your hands and knees. And you could adjust your knees in so that they're right underneath your hips, spread wide through your fingers. And let your spine extend here, arching your back, gazing up. Kind of pull those shoulders down away from your ears. Inhale the breath, and then as you exhale, tuck your tail around your back. And then I'm going to have you pull back. So pull your hips back towards your heels. Let your fingertips maybe inch forward a little bit. So you're in a really active child's pose here, stretching. And then as you inhale, Rise back up onto your hands and knees and arch your spine. I'm even tucking my toes here, so I'm bringing really my whole body into extension, and then point your toes back if you'd like. Round your spine as you exhale and stretch yourself back. Start to flow with your own breath here, so you're just breathing in, kind of curling up, letting the chest open at the top, arch. Try to feel that space between the front of your shoulders widening, and then exhaling, pulling back. Finding your rhythm, finding your flow. That really allows your breath, your body, and your attention to all sync up. That's like a really easy pathway into the present moment. Body moving, breath moving with the body, and attention, focus following the breath and body, bringing us into present moment awareness. Good. Breathe out your last time here, pulling back through that child's pose. And once you're back in child's pose, just pause. And then we're going to walk the hands. You could lift your gaze towards your hands and then walk your hands over to the left and just give yourself a nice side stretch. And then gaze up, walk your hands over to the right. Nice side stretch for the left. Deep breath in and out. Good. Bring your hands back through center. And then let your forehead touch down and bring your hands back so that they're right by your knees. Palms spread wide, fingers spread wide, and then just lift your hips and roll up to the top of your head. And again, here you can kind of inch your knees in, and you can usually see your hands with your peripheral vision, elbows stacked over the wrist. And you're just rolling up to the top of the head. You want to keep the shoulders lifting from the ears. And as you exhale, your belly draws in towards your spine. And then you're going to push off your head and just let your hips roll back towards your heels. Do that 2 more times. Breathing in, lift your hips, roll to the top of your head. And then push off your head, roll back. 1 more time. Come to the top of your head, inhaling. Maybe you push into the hands a little bit to create some dynamic energy into the chest and the shoulders. Exhale, relax your jaw, and slowly release back through child's. And then take your arms out in front, nice and long. Breathe out. And then on your inhale, gazing forward, rise up onto your hands and knees. This time tuck your toes and lift your hips, press back into your first down dog, and start to warm into your down dog here. So this could be that you pedal out your feet, kind of going side to side. Bending and straightening out the knees. Sometimes stretching into the tops of the feet. And also notice your wrists. So sometimes, the wrists are a little sticky, so maybe you shake out one hand or roll out one wrist. And then the other one. And then just starting to settle into your down dog, let your toes spread. Feel the base of your big toes anchor into your mat, and you can see this happening. And almost to the point where the pinky toe, the base of your pinky toe, wants to lift up off the mat just a little bit. Then you spread your toes and then pull back with your heels from that strong anchor point at the base of your big toe. Stretch your heels back. Maybe your heels then stretch down into your mat. Maybe they are still floating. That's perfectly fine. And you can always bend your knees in down dog here. Even sometimes a little micro bend can be really helpful to release our back and also those hamstrings. Let your head just hang and see if you can let your shoulders release a little bit away from the base of your neck and the spine, the upper back. Take one more breath here. Good, and then as you exhale, look forward and just walk your feet to the front of your mat. So you're here in an easy forward fold. Take a breath in, lengthen out your spine. And your feet can be hip distance. Soften your knees. Exhale, fold in. Rounding out your back a little bit. Let's do that again. Inhale, press through the feet. Maybe your legs will straighten. Shoulders pressing down. Keep weight in the balls of the feet. Exhale, curl the spine in towards those legs. Maybe bend your knees. Let yourself settle in. And then one more time, breathe in, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Good, and then with your knees nice and soft, you're just going to roll up through your spine. And you can ragdoll your torso here so your arms stay heavy. And you're just going to roll up nice and slowly. Lift your shoulders, shrug them up, back, and down. So you're standing here in your mountain pose. Let your palms open to face forward. Stretch through your fingertips. Pull up a little through the upper sternum. Feel your tailbone dropping down, and you're lifting just slightly through your pubic bones at the front of your pelvis here towards your navel. And then on your next breath in, just let those arms reach up, up. And you can arch back if it feels good. Just stretch. And then exhale, dive over those thighs, forward fold. And let your body curl in here. Inhaling, lengthen. And I'm just going to pull my blocks out here just to show you how you can use the blocks. I love using the blocks. They have 3 different heights, right? So you can switch. So, you know, if you're practicing at home a lot, you might want to consider buying yourself a couple blocks. Exhale, fold in. Again, you can melt the body a little bit. And then take another breath, lengthen, stretching out your spine. Take your feet a little bit wider. So they're going to be outer hip width or even wider than your hips. Bend into your right knee, press into that right hand, and then sweep your left arm up. Inhale. As you exhale, if you'd like, you could even wrap that left arm behind your low back, just for a moment here. You're keeping your right knee bent. Left leg may still be bent, or you could straighten it if possible. Reach back up with that left arm. Exhale, take the left hand down. Preparing for side 2. So bend deep into your left knee, reach up with your right arm. Gaze up. Maybe right leg straightens out. You could wrap your right arm behind your low back so you can, wherever that arm lands, eventually you would maybe curl your fingers around to grab your inner thigh. The arm is wrapped. Inhale, lift it back up. And then exhale, release and fold. Let your toes turn out just slightly. Inhale, lift your chest again, and then let your knees bend, come down into a deep squat here, and your heels can lift, and then just rock from side to side. So look over your right shoulder, and then look over your left shoulder. Good, come through center, like a little frog here. Lift up your chest, lift up your gaze, breathe in. And then exhale, fold. Heel toe your feet back in. Maybe your blocks stay in place here, or you just slip them outside of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Good, exhale, step back into your downward facing dog. And from down dog, lift up both heels, gaze towards your navel. And then roll forward. So you're going to kind of push from your tailbone, roll yourself forward, coming into plank pose. Exhale, lift the belly and pull all the way back into your down dog, kind of like what we were doing on hands and knees. So you're rounding out your back, move forward into your plank, shoulders over the wrists, strengthen your legs, look forward. Blossom your heart forward. You could bend your knees even a little bit here and then lift from your tailbone as you pull back. So you can think about cultivating a wave-like motion through your spine, through your body. Let's do one more of those. Coming into plank and then stretching back into your down dog. And then lift your right leg here once you're back in your down dog and just let that right hip open, bending the knee. Take time if your joints need some mobility today. Circle out your ankle, wiggle your toes. Take one more breath. And then step your right foot outside your right hand. So it's a wider lunge. Tap your left knee down and just let your hips soften forward. So your right toes can be turned out slightly here. And you're just letting your hips release as far forward as it feels comfortable for you. And you can move around a little bit. And sometimes a nice movement to explore in this stretch is a circular movement from the hips. So you let your pelvis press forward and then just a little kind of shifting over towards the left and then circle back and then a little bit over to the right and come back forward. So it's kind of a subtle movement. And then you could go the opposite, a little to the right, back, a little to the left and forward. Good, you're just saying hello to those hips. See if you can draw up through your heart. Breathe in. Good, and then lift up that left knee and exhale, slip your right leg back. Back into your down dog. And then from down dog, take a breath in, come into your plank again. Hold plank this time. Spread through those fingers. Tap your knees down if you need to, but try to keep them light on your mat. Draw the shoulders down away from your ears and lengthen out your neck. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. Bend that knee, stretch. And again, see what your joints may want here. So you could circle out your ankle. Sometimes you get some little pops and cracks, all those little joints receiving your attention today. Building that rapport with yourself, right? So if you notice tightness, if you notice discomfort, if you notice something and your initial reaction to it is dislike, come back to being friendly with whatever you discover inside yourself, right? Because you are always going to be with you, right? Take one more inhale and then exhale. Lunge your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Drop that right knee down and just let your hips soften forward. So we definitely can distract ourselves from our body. We can distract ourselves from our minds, from our emotions, usually utilizing the external world. Or we can stay present with what arises inside of us, with what shows up, with what we discover, and become curious and friendly towards ourselves through those discoveries. So you might be doing a little circle action here with your hips. Again, the movement's pretty subtle, like a little baby circle in each direction. It's just to kind of bring more of those muscles into this opening. And then lift your chest a little bit, breathe in. And then as you exhale, lift up, right knee, step back, downward facing dog. And then from down dog, one more time, come forward to plank. And you could do that rolling forward. And then this time, from your plank pose, we're going to lower all the way down. So really kick on the strength in the legs here. Right, squeeze all the way up to your glutes because the legs are the biggest part of the body here. We want them to be engaged and then the belly strong. Hug your hands and your arms towards each other. Bend into your elbows. Come all the way down into your belly. Good. Once you're here on your belly, we're going to take a breath into cobra. Just let your breath kind of help lift you up a little bit and then exhale, release down. Again, breathing in, curl up. And down, exhale. So let your muscles do the lifting and then let the breath complete the pose. One more time, inhale, curl up. And exhale, release. Let's take the arms, reach them back. And if you're able to, clasp your hands behind your back. Otherwise, just float your arms alongside your body and then pull back. Lifting the chest, breathing here. Eyes softly focused. And you could stay here or you can float your legs up, Maybe squeeze your thighs together. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, releasing your hands, bring them down alongside your body. You could touch down with your forehead. You want your hands kind of halfway between shoulders and hips, so they're right underneath your elbows. And then you'll curl up through cobra, maybe pausing there or pressing into the hands, working your way up into full up dog. Elbows could stay a little soft. Lift your knees, arch your back. And then pulling back, either taking a little release in the back through child's or move right into your down dog. Your choice. Let your waistline stretch out long, head heavy. Anchor into the base of your big toes, draw back through the heels, press down through your heels. Great, and then from here, go ahead and lift your right leg again. And if you enjoy that hip opening, just let the front of the right hip open towards the sky. Maybe the knee bends. Take a nice inhale. And then this time you're going to bring your right knee to your right wrist for pigeon. So we're not going to be here for super long. And let your hips kind of sink down. Prop up to your fingertips. Lift open your chest. And just see if you can land here. So if this really bothers your knee, you could roll over onto your back just for a brief sleeping pigeon. Otherwise, lift here. Send the breath, let the breath move down into your pelvis. Maybe expanding, especially through the front of that left side of your pelvis. Look up, breathe in, and then depending on your body, if you feel like, okay, I'm fairly stable here, you can press down through the legs and then even try to fly your arms back. So palms are facing forward, reach through the fingertips. Good, and then let your hands come back down. Take a breath in, begin to tuck those back toes, lift up and pull into your down dog. And just take a breath or two here. Notice the two hips. Let them reset in relationship to one another. And then from down dog, go ahead and roll forward. So lift the heels, curl the body forward. Find your plank, inhaling. Nice and strong, exhale, chaturanga. Cobra, or just float yourself right through up dog. Breathing in. Down dog, exhale. Left side, lift your left leg. Nice big stretch. And then left knee to the left wrist or left hand or left thumb. And then just take your time kind of settling into this variation of pigeon. So a couple things just alignment-wise that you can feel into for this stretch is that, one, your hips are facing forward. Right, the front of your hips faces the front of your mat, and you're trying to roll the top of your right thigh down onto your mat. So you could imagine somebody kind of trying to lift up your inner right thigh a little bit and rotate it so that the outer right thigh is coming down towards your mat. And then we let this left outer hip settle, and you might press into the pinky side of that left foot just a little bit. Spread through your right toes, press down through those right toes, and just let yourself sit up tall. Maybe the shoulders can melt, maybe lift your gaze. And this side could be really different than the last side. And that's okay, right? We're nourishing our bodies with this movement, with our breath, with our attention this morning. And that nourishment is best received by the body when it comes from somebody who is delivering it in a really friendly way, right? So be kind to yourself here on your mat. And then maybe you can float your hands and think of like the Titanic, right? Those arms open, like a free expression for the heart. Pull back a little bit with the arms and squeeze between your shoulder blades. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, let your hands come back down. Breathe in. Tuck those right toes, lift the knee. Stretch yourself into your down dog. From down dog, breathe into plank. Maybe just hold here, or chaturanga, up dog, or cobra. And we'll meet in down dog. Great, from downward facing dog pose, bring your right knee to your nose. And then just tap that right foot down and bring your left knee to your nose. So you're doing like a little cat tuck here. You're pushing through your hands, drawing your nose towards your knee, squeezing across the abdomen. And then touch down. Let's do that 2 more times each side. So right knee in. You want to exhale. Touch down, inhale, left knee. Touch down, right knee. Touch down, left knee. So just a little compressive action into the belly and into those organs. Deep breath, maybe let your belly expand, exhale it out. Good, and then let's step the right foot forward. We'll lift the right leg first, breathe in. Lunge your right foot between your hands. Go ahead and drop your left heel. Rise up into your warrior one here. Arms floating overhead. Good. And then on your exhalation, let your arms fly forward and then back. And again, opening a little bit like that Titanic type of position. And if you haven't seen the movie Titanic, sorry that I'm referencing it here, but I'm thinking of when she's at the front of the boat and she's just like, ah, right? Kind of a free feeling, an expansive feeling. So expand the front of your chest by pinching between your shoulder blades. That's going to help. Gaze up. Good. And then circle those arms back overhead, breathing in. And then exhale, releasing your hands down to your mat. Lift your back heel and step your left foot in a little closer and go ahead and drop that heel. So this is another place where if you have blocks, they come in handy, especially if you're tight in the hamstrings. So your back toes are turned out about 10 degrees from being pointing straight forward. So turn them out to the left about 10 degrees. You're hugging the midline of your mat a little bit with your inner thighs. Lengthen out your spine. Pull that right hip back. See if you can get your hips to face forward again. Shoulders down. Your back of the neck is long. Take a breath in. And then exhale. If you can, fold your body over that right leg. And just breathe. Try to keep all 4 corners of your feet grounded. I'm both here, both feet. Grounding down. Gonna take another breath in. Good, and then bend into your right knee a little bit. Walk your hands forward again, maybe with blocks or without. Step onto your right foot, lifting your left leg up. So if you look back, sometimes the knee bends, we don't even notice it. So stretch the leg straight, spread through the toes, pull the navel in, lengthen out through the spine. Good, stay here, or then bend your left knee, your choice. Reach back with your right hand. See if you can find your foot or your ankle. You kind of have to see where it's at. Bend into your right knee and then push down and kick that left foot into the right hand and arch your back if you can. You could keep the knee bent if need be. Take one more breath and then soften through that right knee, releasing. Stretch your left leg back out, breathing in. And then exhale, bend into your right knee, walk your hands back. Step all the way into your down dog. Just take a couple breaths, let the body rebound, let the muscles rebound out of that pose. And if you'd like a vinyasa here, go ahead and inhale, coming into your plank. Exhale, chaturanga, cobra, or up dog, breathing in. Down dog, breathing out. All right. Notice the difference right now between the left and right sides of your body. And let's do that little core crunching movement. It's kind of subtle, right? Not super intense, but think about compressing your digestive organs as you do this, and then also including those abdominals, letting them engage and strengthen. So as you breathe out, right knee to the nose, curl in. And then you just step the right foot down, and there's a little opening, a little arching almost through the spine. Exhale, left knee. Place down. Right knee. Place down. Left knee. Place down. Let's do one more time. Each side, right and left. Good. And then stretch your left leg up and lunge your left foot forward. Drop your right heel. Warrior one, rising up. Let those arms stretch overhead. Nice deep bend into your front knee. And then let the arms circle forward and then back. So you're turning your palms to face forward, right? And then press the arms back. Squeeze between your shoulder blades and start to open. Open wide here. Imagine your arms growing longer, fingertips reaching away, like you're really checking out, what is my wingspan? How big is my wingspan? How expansive is my heart today? Strengthen your back leg. So really push down through that back foot to feel the strength there. We inhale, circle those arms back up. And then exhale, releasing your hands down to your mat. Lift up your back heel, and then we're going to hop that right foot in a little closer. So if your right toes were facing straight forward, you're going to take them and turn them about 10 degrees out to the right. And your inner heels are both touching the midline of your mat approximately. These are all approximates to play with. Rotate your right hip forward. Slide your shoulders down your back, lengthen. And then fold over your leg if you can. And again, this is where, maybe you use blocks, or sometimes people use books or water bottles under their hands. Whatever's handy. Whatever's handy for those hands. Breathe here. And we're going to exhale out completely. And then inhale, lengthen, looking forward. And then you're going to step onto your left foot, lift your right leg. So straighten out this right leg, reach through your toes. And you're trying to lift from your inner right thigh. Draw your navel and stretch out through your spine here. I have a little bend in my left knee. Right? And you can stay here. This is already a lot of work, right? You're feeling this outer left hip draw back a little bit, or you can bend your right knee and kind of open that right hip a little bit. Reach back with your left hand. See if you can find your foot. You could bend deeper into that left knee, and then you're kicking right foot into that left hand, and also maybe lifting your right foot a little bit with the left hand. You can keep your left knee as bent as you need it to be. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, release your foot. Stretch that leg out long again. Walk your hands back as you exhale. Step way back into your lunge. Ground your hands. Downward facing dog. And then from down dog, breathe in if you'd like. Optional vinyasa, come forward to plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. And down dog. From down dog, bring your knees down to your mat and take a child's pose. Rest your hips back and down. And just breathe here. A couple more breaths in child's pose. Each time you exhale, just feel the body coming deeper into balance. And then once again, bring your hands back near your knees. Your knees are close together, and you're going to roll up again onto the top of your head. And you can push a little into your hands. And notice when you push into your hands how the belly kind of pulls up and in. And see if you can find the place between the very top of your forehead, your hairline, and then the very crown of your head, which is further back on top of your head. And you want to find kind of the point between those 2 points. A little bit of an exploration. And that's where we're letting the head be in contact with the floor. So you can stay here, or you could lift your knees. Now this is for just those that don't have any shoulder or neck issues. And then you want to, again, be able to see your fingertips with your peripheral vision. Push into your hands and hug your elbows together like you're holding something between your elbows or your upper arms, like maybe like a beach ball. Stay here. Or again, those of you that are more experienced, bring your knees to the back of your arms into a tripod headstand. Let your big toes touch. Push again through those hands a little bit. Keep squeezing through your elbows. You want your arms to feel fairly steady here. And that weight is somewhere between the hairline and the crown of your head. Now, those of you that are really experienced with headstand, you may already be in headstand. You could bring your knees towards your chest. You could lift your knees. You could straighten your legs. But wherever you are on the spectrum is great. So you might be still here with your knees on the mat, holding. Take one more breath wherever you're working, and then you're going to breathe out as you slowly find your way back through your child's pose. Let your arms stretch out, let your knees widen, and then loosely rock your head from side to side. Take a couple deep breaths. Good, and then lift your head, look towards your hands. You can walk your hands back, come to sit up on your knees. And so now we're gonna release. So when you work towards headstand, even if you're just in that beginning position, which sometimes is called rabbit pose, with your knees still on the floor, you're starting to, compress into the neck a little bit. A little bit of compression actually is healthy for our joints, but we don't want to do it too much. We don't want to overdo it. And so now if you come around onto your back, we're going to do a counter pose, fish pose for that movement that we just did. So you're going to come down onto your back. Your arms can come down alongside your body. And then I usually recommend palms down and kind of snug them underneath your hips here. You can try to walk your elbows in a little bit, then the legs stretch out straight. And then if you can, kind of bend into your elbows. Lift yourself up so you're up on your elbows here. Walk your elbows in. Push down through your elbows. Point your toes. Gather your feet together, your legs together, and begin to arch back. So initially your head might not touch the floor, but ideally you're sliding a little bit until the very top of your head is lightly on the floor. So I'm not taking a tremendous amount of weight here. And then you point your toes, legs are active. You're going to push down through your seat. So really feel your sits bones grounding down into the floor, down into your hands. And then elbows press, and you get this nice, beautiful opening at the front of your throat, the front of your chest. You can try to widen the space between your shoulders and breathe into the space. Opening up your throat chakra, your heart chakra. If you need to come out, come out. Otherwise, let's stay for 3 more breaths. Last breath in. Good. Now to come out, sometimes you can just kind of lift your chin a little bit, defy gravity there, and then slide down onto your back. And once you slide down onto your back here, just rest. Notice what you're feeling inside of yourself. The tingling, the vibrancy, the warmth. Maybe even little waves of emotion. So I know often when I practice yoga and I hold a pose and really feel into the stretch of the pose, the opening, the compression, whatever it is, when I release out of it, if I give myself a little pause after that pose to allow the intensity to kind of wash over me and quiet down, sometimes there's this little bubbling up of an emotion that is ready to move and flow and be felt. Good. So from here, when you're ready, draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And then hold on behind your knees or thighs and just rock yourself right up to sit. And we're going to come into a Baddha Konasana pose, bound angle. So bring the soles of your feet together. And, if your hips are lifted way up high, like above the hip level, your knees, sorry, if your knees are lifted way up high above your hip level, you want to lift your pelvis until there's a little bit more kind of, what would you say, equalness here between knees and hips. So knees high, you boost your pelvis up on a blanket or a bolster until there's more levelness between knees and hips. Okay, and sometimes it's just nice to sit up on something too. You can experiment. And then take your peace fingers here and scissor your toes so your thumbs come to the balls of your feet, and see if you can just pull your chest forward and upward. And let your knees kind of press down, inside edges or outside edges of your feet actually pressing into each other as you open the inside edges of your feet. Take a breath in and then exhale. Bend into your elbows and pull your chest forward. And at some point, you're going to kind of find your edge, right? Where you can't go too much further forward with that heart leading, right? With the chest open. And at that point, if you wish, round your back. And just let your head hang, and let's stay here for 5 breaths. Take your last exhalation. And then as you come up, maybe you can lift your head, lift your chest, come up through your seated position. Wonderful. Lift your knees. And then take your right foot and just tuck it under. And take your left foot either right next to your right shin bone here or cross it over. And we're going to do a little twist. So this left pelvis, if it's lifted way up high, you might want to just sit up on a folded blanket to try to level out your pelvis, right? A little lift is okay, but we want to be as level as possible here so that our spine is straight up and down. And once you're there, go ahead and sweep your left fingertips behind you and see if you can kind of wiggle your belly past your thigh. Wrap up that left leg with your right arm and just lift tall with your breath in And with your exhale, look back over your shoulder. And just enjoy this twist. We'll take about 3 to 5 more breaths. One more inhale. And exhale, let yourself release. Rotate around through center, and we'll just take that to the opposite side. So tuck your left foot underneath here. Right foot can be right next to your shin bone, or cross it over. Try to get your hips to release down, so this right hip relaxing towards the floor. Sweep your right fingertips behind you. Wrap up your right leg with your left arm. And then lift nice and tall, inhaling, exhaling as you spin around, looking back over your shoulder. And then just breathe. Bringing all of your body into this twist, all those internal organs being wrung out, your nerves, your spine being wrung out. One more breath in. And then exhale, let yourself relax, circle back through center. Nice work, everyone. All right, so now we get to lie down onto our backs. Come on around and hug your knees into your chest. And if you're feeling really into your practice and there's more that you want to do, just press pause and then come back and join me for Shavasana when you're ready, after you've completed your practice. Otherwise, from here, once you've hugged those knees into the chest and your back feels like it's starting to get a little gooey and soft, you can let your legs stretch out long, coming into Shavasana, final relaxation. And if you have a really tight back, sometimes it's best to just keep your knees bent with the feet on the floor, so that's perfectly fine as well. And as you breathe out, just let your body sink into the floor. We'll take 5 to 10 more breaths here in Shavasana and extend these breaths out, especially the exhalations, making them really long so that you're completely emptying out with that exhalation. Feeling as you breathe out very slowly, how that brings you into a deeper state of relaxation, a quieter state mentally, a more calm state emotionally. Slow exhalations, right, help us become internally quiet. So take your last exhalation, slow, deep, complete exhalation. And if you're ready to embrace the rest of your day, begin to wiggle through your fingers and toes. Circle out your wrist and ankles. Maybe letting your whole body stretch. Leisurely rolling off to your side. Easing yourself up and just coming into an easy seat similar to how we started the practice today. And just taking a quiet moment here to really be synced up with yourself. Lovingly giving yourself attention in these closing moments of your practice. It's likely you are going to be busy, you're going to be externally focused, paying attention to so many things as you move throughout your day. So let this connection right now to yourself be solid and secure and positive. So lovingly gazing inward upon yourself and expressing something kind to yourself. What do you need to hear today? What positive affirmation can you tell yourself that is uplifting? And as you speak those kind words to yourself, just notice how your body responds, how your mind responds, how your emotions respond. Right? Consciously rewiring our tendency to be critical or negative, especially towards ourselves. Let's gather the palms together, the front of the chest, holding gratitude for this beautiful practice of yoga, the lineage of yoga, all the teachers it's been passed down through. And gratitude for yourself for showing up today. Thank you so much for being here, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.